In this video, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to use limiting, at-about mastering and stem mastering sessions. And of course, what a better way than to use the most popular limiter you have on the market, which is the FabFilter Pro L2. Now the thing is that before actually using a limiter, we have to understand how that limiter works. So let's quickly dive into a quick tutorial about what Pro L2 is and how to use it. So I believe you all know how Pro L2 looks, and I believe many of you actually use this limiter. Now it operates pretty simple. You have the gain, which is used to push the gain, and actually trigger limiting. So basically hit the ceiling, make the signal louder, and achieve the results you're looking for. Now the thing here is that you have this advanced tab right here, and then you can do many adjustments. Now if you're a complete beginner, FabFilter recommends to keep the default values, but if you want to dive a bit further and use it to the absolute maximum, I would suggest running what these features do and actually start working around them. So you have the style, many styles, each style will sound different. We have look ahead, attack and release, channel linking. Now the thing you have to consider is that the attack and release are completely different than on compression. So this is not something you would be using exactly like on the compressor, because the attack and release times have two stages and they work based on how you set the attack time. So if you, for example, use a shorter attack, something like this, the release will respond differently. Again, if you use a bit longer attack, you'll be triggering a second stage of limiting, and this means that this limiter is highly adaptable. Now channel linking is a very creative idea when it comes to FabFilter Pro 2, and it's mainly used for Dolby Atmos. However, it can be used also for stereo processing, for mashing, stem mastering session, even in mixing. Because these two features will basically determine if you're going to limit the channels equally or independently. Now different limiters usually have that channel linking which you can turn on or off or basically blend the amount. Here you have the transients and release. Based on how you set this up, you can achieve mashes that sound a bit more smoother or a bit more punchier, a bit more aggressive. But at the cost of possible problems if you, for example, set this to a too fast settings for a track that doesn't really need that. So this can also cause distortion. But if you listen to me, you won't be having trouble using this. Now, if you set this look ahead time to a bit shorter values, such as this here that you see on the screen, you'll be triggering more loudness at the potential distortion. So you have to watch out for this. However, if you set this to some extreme values, such as this one, or even this one, your transients can be sounding a bit less punchy, but at the same time you won't cause distortion. The perfect thing is to analyze the track you're working with and then decide if you're going to use shorter or a bit longer look ahead times. And you'll be also seeing that in this video. Now the main purpose of this video is to basically announce our new Pro L2 preset pack. And I made this with my team and it's absolutely amazing. And this is a new way of using Pro 2, and this allows you to unlock the full potential of what this limiter can do. This is the reason we're going to use it on multiple tracks. So as the first track, we have some like tech house track that sounds really punchy, really groovy. We're going to use my personal preset located within the mashing folder, and it's called Likely to Be Very Loud. I always like to give some funny names that can be remembered for that specific preset. And this is a very loud preset. Now let's trigger some gain reduction and see what this limiter can do. Of course, depending on how you want to process the signal, you can also push this even further. It won't distort with settings like this, and it of course depends on the mix and how you process the track before limiting. Generally speaking, I don't recommend going above 2 dB of gain reduction when it comes to limiting. Of course, there's always room for different things and for experimentation. But this is like my reminder when I'm mashing to keep the gain reduction subtle, and in order to achieve the loudness, I also look the processors before. On this specific track, we use the settings I explained earlier in this video. I also use true peak limiting for this one. This is not necessary, and it depends on how it reacts to your transients. If you turn this feature on, this will basically limit those true peaks and you won't have overs when you basically upload the track to your streaming platforms, and you won't cause distortion. This is like your safe key. However, this will also reduce some of the punch. On this track, this sounded nice because I processed this track a lot using also my analog gear, but as my final limiter I use Pro 2. So that's the vision behind this track. Let's jump into another genre completely different from this one. This track is more of a chill track, that summer vibe that you really want to feel, and you don't want some kind of aggressive limiting that really squashes the track. You want to retain the transients and also be transparent. This is the reason why we're using this specific preset, which is called as transparent as possible. Within this preset, I used the transparent style. I used a bit shorter look ahead, which might not be a good fit for all the tracks. For this track it worked well, and it will also work for many different tracks. This is why this preset exists. I also used complete channel linking and adjusted some attack release so it suits more tracks like this. I also used true peak limiting, kept some headroom and used some of the oversampling. Now let's push some gain so we get some gain reduction to see how this performs. You probably noticed within this video that I'm using the loudness you'll be achieving with this limiter, and then I'm switching to unity gain. This is for the purpose of you, viewers, so you can compare how the limiter sounds with the exact same loudness. These settings in and then bypassed. So as you were able to hear, this sounded very nice for this specific track. Let's jump into another one, but completely different one. I believe this kind of limiting is the absolute popular on the market nowadays because many people are into loudness wars. But guess what? Within my preset pack, you also have a preset that says absolute loudness. And I mean disrespectful loudness. Because this way we're using the slowest attack, a bit faster release, channel linking completely off, all-round style, look ahead almost to 0 milliseconds, no true peak limiting. I did use a bit higher oversampling because if you're switching true peak limiting off, I recommend using a bit higher oversampling, 8x, 16x, even 32x, but I believe with 8x you can do the job, and this is why this preset features it. And also provides some of headroom before you export something like this. Warning, this could potentially cause distortion on some tracks. Maybe some nice sounding distortion, but again maybe some unwanted distortion. So pay attention when you're using something like this and definitely decide where you're going to use something like this. This track is Hardstyle, so let's see how this performs. The results are insane, and again I use the unity gain to showcase how this limiter actually sounds. And the thing with these kind of tracks is that you can of course go beyond 2 dB or gain reduction and limiting, because tracks like this are meant to be a bit more squashed. This is why you can be absolutely flexible, especially with these presets, you won't have trouble at all. Limiting is not only meant for mastering, you can use it at the mixing stage, at the stem mastering stage. I have a stem mastering session here and I used Pro L2 on the vocal bus. Now on this vocal bus, it's interesting because I wanted to gain some more control that I wasn't able to gain with compression, so I decided let's use limiting.
You're poison on your lips, and I'm lost in my fix. If loving you is fate, you're poison, you're poison. You're poison on your lips, and I'm lost
And of course this preset is again within my new Pro L2 pack, within the mixing folder, and it's called the vocals limiting one. And I'm saying keep the unity gain on, because this unity gain will ensure you don't change the level and you can make sure you don't affect the level of the vocals, but still apply that limiting that really keeps the vocals tight within the mix or this stem mastering session. So I hope you enjoyed this quick walkthrough and a tutorial on Pro L2, as well as my new preset and my new preset pack. So I highly advise all of you to check it out. It just released. Make sure to get the pack. You're also supporting my brand with this and all the videos we make for you. Let me know what you think about the pack. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you in another one. Also, to get our new FabFilter Pro 2 pack, just visit the description down there. You'll find the link. Make sure to enjoy and let me know what you think. Take care.